If you guys enjoy what I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it's free and easy to do. Before we get started with today's video, I have an announcement to make. After years of telling other people's stories, I finally released one of my own. My novel Eternal Reign is available now in both ebook and paperback format for those of you who are like me and prefer to collect physical media. You can grab a copy right now on Amazon through the link in the description of this video. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. The war between the Jedi and the Sith hasn't gone all that well for the Jedi. Their temple on Coruscant got destroyed, killing a whole lot of them. The ones who survived moved to Tython to try and train the next generation of Jedi before the war picks up again. Lucky for them, a very strong Padawan has come to the planet to undergo her final trials and become a Jedi Knight. And that's where our story begins. When you first touch down on the planet, you're greeted by the Jedi Knight Darren Weller, who, like most of the other Jedi on the planet, have heard about you and your exceptional skills. The Council is planning on assigning you to a Jedi Master who will finish your training, which won't be as easy as you may think. The plan was to get you to the temple right away, but a call comes through that some of the local creatures called Flesh Raiders have attacked the Padawan training grounds, and they're armed with blasters, which is very out of the ordinary for the primitive creatures. The things are dangerous without advanced weapons, so throwing those into the mix makes the situation far worse. So Darren sends out a call to all of the nearby Jedi for help. Since you have more fighting experience than most of the other Padawans, he sends you out to help too while he tries to get in touch with the Council. After helping thin the herd of raiders, you get a call from Darren. He had joined in the fight and took a hit to the leg while trying to protect some people, so he's being shipped off to the temple for treatment. He had heard from another Padawan that the raiders are using a cave to enter the valley, so you head there to cut off their point of entry. When you make it to the cave, you see a Jedi named Kaleth getting ready to kill a Padawan for the crime of being weak and holding back the Jedi Order. He doesn't sense that same weakness in you, probably because you killed a lot of his followers on your way there. According to the Padawan, Kaleth is leading the Flesh Raiders, something he proves by calling two of them over to help him deal with you. They aren't nearly strong enough, and you finish them off only moments before a Jedi Master named Orgus Den shows up. Once you let him know what happened with the rogue Jedi, he says that regardless of what Kaleth said, he wasn't a Jedi, at least not one that was trained by anyone Orgus knew. Him leading the Flesh Raiders in their attack proves something that Orgus had been trying to get the Council to understand for a while. The creatures that they thought were mindless monsters are much smarter and potentially more dangerous than they wanted to believe. While he didn't recognize Kaleth, Orgus does see something familiar about his lightsaber, so he takes it to see if the Jedi Council can use it to figure out who the guy was. After he uses the Force to collapse the tunnel so no more Flesh Raiders can come through, he takes the injured Padawan to the medical center while he tells you to head to the Jedi Temple and tell the Council what happened. When you get to the temple, Satele Shan, the leader of the council and a descendant of Bastila Shan and Revan, who you definitely know if you play the Knights of the Old Republic game, tells you to come to meet with her before you talk to the full council. She and everyone else in the temple have already heard about what you did during the training grounds raid, and she wanted to make sure that killing the Jedi traitor hadn't affected you in any negative way. Once she's sure that it hasn't, she sends you on to the council chambers where they're already discussing the incident. Master Bayla Kiwix has gone through the archives to see if she could find anything on the rogue Jedi. And it turns out that the man you killed had never received formal Jedi training, which makes her apprentice Kira think that the Sith must have tracked you all down. Orgus isn't so sure of that, since if the Sith were involved, they would have probably done something a little more dangerous than sending some natives armed with a few blasters to take down the Jedi. The Masters have all been sensing something bad coming for a while, so it's possible that whatever's going on with the Flesh Raiders is a part of that. The Jedi had thought that they were just disorganized primitives, but the fact that they could be united and led to carry out an organized attack proves otherwise. Orgus is pretty sure that their leader wasn't acting alone, and since most of Tython is still unexplored, there are a lot of places where a lot of people could hide. The Jedi don't actually have the resources to explore them all, so Orgus decides to take you on as his Padawan and handle the hunt with you. Considering the fact that he hasn't taken an apprentice in years, this says a lot about the potential he sees in you, and just how hard he plans on pushing you. With the council meeting done, Orgus decides to get started on the mission immediately by sending you to talk to the Twi'lek pilgrims who have been fighting the Flesh Raiders for months. They had asked the Republic for help, but since they had moved to the planet without going through the proper channels, the Jedi were ordered not to help them, which means they probably won't be all that eager to talk to you, but that's something that you'll have to deal with because Orgus has something else to do before he can meet you in their camp. The Twi'lek matriarch and her daughter Rana aren't exactly surprised that the Jedi finally came to join in their fight, since they all know about the Raiders attacking them, but they aren't exactly in a position where they can turn down help since their fight isn't going well and the matriarch is sick. Since the raiders got their new weapons, they've been picking the Twi'leks off. Some of the scouts have seen the cave where they store their weapons, but they don't have the manpower or tools to raid the place. Getting in won't be hard for a Force user though, and that'll let you steal the weapons for the Twi'leks to give them a fighting chance. That act will go a long way toward getting the pilgrims to trust you, so you do what any peace-loving Jedi would, and that's slaughter dozens of weaker creatures to complete your goal. When you get to the weapon storage facility, you find a recon droid that they stole, who just so happens to have seen the true leader of the raiders giving orders to the fake Jedi that you killed. He's wearing a robe so you can't see his face, but that video is more than a little useful, so you take the droid with you so you can show it to Orgus. After bringing the pilgrims the weapons, you show the droid to Orgus, who recognizes it as one of the 20 droids they had sent to gather information. It's the only one that survived, so it probably has a lot of useful information on it outside of what you saw. Orgus gets started on going through that, while you talk to Rana to see if her people are ready to help the Jedi since you helped them. According to their scouts, the Flesh Raiders have fully taken over the nearby mountains, and now they're invading the ruins of Kaleth. The place had once been a city of Force users, and the ruins hold power that even the Jedi don't understand. The Raiders are looking for something in the ruins, and since whatever they find will probably not be good for any of you, Orgus sends you to the ruins to stop them while he takes the droid to the Council. Orgus recognizes the voice of the man in the video, and if it's who he thinks it is, then the situation is a lot worse than he thought. So you head off to handle the raiders while Orgus promises to send you some backup. In a quite unexpected twist, one of the Flesh Raiders can not only talk, but he can use the Force. He's not all that strong though, so you put him down before Master Kiwix and Kira show up. They were your backup, but you finished the job without them. Kiwix finds a very old holocron in the Flesh Raider's pocket, and since those contain the knowledge of ancient Jedi or Sith depending on the type, it's proof that the Flesh Raiders are a lot smarter than the Jedi thought, and they're using their intelligence to learn how to fight Jedi. She also figured that Orgus knows who's been helping teach the Raiders, but he didn't have time to tell her before he sent her off to help you, and she won't get the chance to help with the investigation anymore since SWTOR has given her a mission. The Council thinks that all of the bad feelings they've been getting have something to do with the Republic's capital, so Kiwix and Kira are about to head to Coruscant. Before they head out, she gives you some monitors to put around the ruins. That way the people at the temple can watch the place and know if any more raiders come hunting for ancient Jedi relics. Once you handle that, you get a call from Orgus. He's headed back to the Twi'lek village and he wants you to meet him there. Kiwix told him about the Force using Flesh Raider before she left and how she thought he learned his techniques from the holocron, but that's not the case. The man in the recording that T7 had is Bingo Moore, and he had been Orgus's Padawan before the Jedi Temple got destroyed by the Sith. He had been inside, so they had thought he died like everyone else since he didn't really have a reason to sneak off. According to Orgus, Bingo was strong in the Force and a good person, so him going over to the dark side just didn't seem like something that would happen. Regardless, he needs to be dealt with. While the two of you are discussing what to do, Rana lets you know that her mother probably won't live for that much longer, so she'll be taking over the camp. Her people have found the Flesh Raiders' base of operations in the mountains, but it has an energy shield around it, so raiding it is out of the question. The shield generator is on a different mountain in a cave and it's very well guarded. While that makes things difficult, it does tell you what needs to be done. Taking down their base will likely put an end to all of the Flesh Raider attacks, so Orgus heads there while giving you the task of shutting down the shield so he can get inside. It's probably a job for more than one person, but apparently he has a lot of faith in his new Padawan's abilities, so you head off to prove to him that you can do the job. And that's where we're going to stop for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, comment, share it, and subscribe. Grab a copy of my novel on your way out, and I'll see you all next time.